Are your judo classes set up for kids? Meaning you do endless conditioning at the beginning, you play games to warm up, and by the time you get to the good stuff, doing actual judo, you're already done? Well, watch this video and I'll teach you how I navigate this shit. What's up guys, Nguyen, OG Fitness. Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new, this channel is about fitness for martial arts for older guys. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to navigate a judo class for kids. Now, why for kids? Well, because most judo classes are set up for kids and they're not very adult friendly. So I'm going to read you guys the comment that sparked this video, and then we'll get right into it. So this is from Slava Amimado. Hi OG, thanks for another great video. I'm 39, 92 kilos, 6'2", 1 year on and off into training. I realized that during consistent 2 times per week training, first month is tough as hell, but after that, endurance grows like 4 times to the level of what it was before. After half a year, I added a third session for being more prepared for my yellow belt, got the belt, congratulations. But in 2 weeks, my body said, bro, you're breaking us. It took almost 5 months to get back to normal walking and having my backs and hamstrings to not hurt. Yeah, so 2 times a week. If you're an adult doing judo is very hard on the body, 2 times a week. That's basically what I did for years. I've been doing judo now for 8 years, and I was competing right out of the gate. And I was only doing 2 sessions a week. So 1 really hard session, 1 competition class, and then 1 regular class. Even the regular classes were pretty hard, in my opinion, for regular people. Okay, now I'm back to training again, and I'm a bit worried not to get that barely walking stage again. I hear you say not to get into conditioning part before randori, but that's the plan for each training. So yes, in other videos, I talk about this, and I'll keep repeating this because I think it's important. Conditioning should be done in a separate session or after class at the end. And the reason for this is because if you tire out your muscles before you go into randori, you're going to hurt yourself. The risk of injury increases. And also, if you tire yourself out and then you start doing your uchikomis, your techniques and all that, well, you're going to be sloppy. And what happens is that if you practice makes permanent. So if you practice like shit, your techniques are sloppy because you're tired, well, they're going to be shit. You know, that's just that. So that's my that's the reason why I always preach that conditioning should be done at the end of the class or a separate session altogether, and not, you know, cram it in like that. But the reason why they cram it in like that is because it's adapted for kids. Kids don't know how to condition themselves outside of class because, well, they're kids. You know, they're not pushing weights yet or anything like that. So they integrate it, and that's why they do what they do. Okay, so now back to the comment. So this is what training looks like in his own words. 20 minutes of soccer. 20 minutes of warming up. That's already 40 minutes, guys. 30 minutes of conditioning. And of course, there's some throws and approaches, some repetitions or whatever. And then finally, 30 minutes of randori. So, weird thing, I always wait for this randori part to play. I hate boring previous parts, but when I reach third part, I'm already exhausted. And when I'm dealing with brown belts and higher, they tire me so fast, almost like minus 25% gas power every minute. So by the end of 3 minutes, I'm passively waiting for my legs to fly in the air. What would your advice be here? Make 1 training per week instead of 2 to get slowly more comfortable with game? Or I need to get back to 2 times a week and wait when I get into shape, wait till I get into shape. Though it's super tiring, sometimes get dark in the eyes. So I guess dark in the eyes probably means exhaustion. So I'm gonna give you guys a strategy here. Oh, sorry, let me just finish off the the comment. What would you suggest to eat during a week to get faster body soreness recovery? Why are the brown belts, black belts so tiring? It's almost like they do nothing and I waste all my power to protect myself from possible throws. Okay, thanks. There's a lot to unpack here. These are great questions. So I'm really happy to be able to provide you with some suggestions and some ideas that I think are going to help all of you guys. Okay, so when it comes to the way the classes are structured, well, they're structured the way they're structured. You can't change that, but you could work around them. So how do I work around them? I come late. One of the things that I used to do is I just show up late because I know that for at least the first half an hour, they're playing games to warm up. So I come late and then I jump in when they start doing the judo, when they start doing technique and drills. Now, the other thing you could do as well is that you show up on time, but you do your own thing. You warm up on your own until they're done, playing their games, and then you hop in when they're actually doing judo. And one thing that I've done also in the past is that I show up to class, and because at my gym they have like the tatami space area, and then they have like a gym, a full-blown, fully decked out gym. I would just work out in the gym, lift weights, and do whatever until they're done doing their thing, their conditioning, their games, and their crazy stuff. And then I would jump in when they put on the gi and actually do some judo. And another thing that you could also do is that you could half-ass it. So what does that mean? So let's say like you're in an environment where you have to be part of it. You have to do this stuff. Well, what you would do instead is that you would half-ass it. So that means that, yeah, you would play soccer, but don't try hard. Don't try hard at all. Just run. Oh, the ball, pretend. Oh, the ball is there, kick it. Like, don't actually play hardcore soccer, because why? Who cares? Just move your body and, for fun, whatever, run a little bit, get your cardio up, warm up. There you go. And then when they get to the warming up, even the warming up, half-ass it. Like if they're like, oh, okay, you got to do 20 push-ups, do 10. Or do them slower. Or even like do it, let's say you do a push-up, go on your knees and do the push-up instead of having to do the whole thing, right? Just make sure you're warming up your body, you're activating your muscles, but you don't have to go 100% of what they're doing, right? And then after that, same goes for the conditionings. When you get to, and then that way you conserve your energy for what actually matters, meaning you conserve your energy for practicing drills, practicing technique, and of course, if you want to do randori at the end. So that's what I would suggest. Now, also when you do randori, in regards to how many times you should train a week, I think 1 time a week is not enough. It's too little. It's too little. It's better than nothing, right? But it's too little. So what I would suggest is that you stick to 2 times a week. If possible, space it out more. So don't do a class on Monday. Usually it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Those are usually the best in the evening, the best times for judo clubs, or actually for any martial art, really. They like those days. Those are prime time, prime hours, right? Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the evening. So what I would do is I would do 1 class on Monday and then take the next class on Friday, for example. So I have more days in between. I have 4 days in between. Instead of Monday and then 1 day break and then Wednesday you go again, because that would be very close, right? And so I would stick to 2 classes. I would space them out if possible. If not, because then I understand. Sometimes maybe Friday classes are you don't have time on Friday because you want to keep your weekends. So you do Monday and Wednesday, but what you do is that you do 1 session the way you want to do it, right? Maybe you do it the way it's done, and then the next session you half-ass it, or you half-ass both of them. It depends on how you feel and all, and that's the way I would go about it. But definitely keep at least 2 sessions. Now, if you could do a third session is fine, right? The more you do, the faster, the better you'll get. But the more you do of judo, not the more you do of push-ups and sit-ups and, you know, just crazy conditioning exercises that don't really do anything. Like playing soccer doesn't make you better at judo. It just makes you better at soccer, you know, which is fine. But if that's not the goal, it's not the goal. Okay. And so that's that, right? What else here? What else are we touching on? Yeah, so you have to manage your own energies and your own training within the structure of the class. Because if you don't, then I mean, you know, this is what happens. You get tired, you get burnt out, you get discouraged, you get injured, you know, there's all kinds of things. Also, another thing that you could do is that you could not do the randoris. Right? Let's say, for example, you come into a class and you're like, you know what, today I'm gonna warm up, and okay, maybe not the soccer because I'm just gonna do my own thing, or you just, and then after that you do like the warm-ups, and then you do the conditioning, this and that, and then you get to randori, you do one randori, and then you're like, I'm tired. You could just stop right there. You could stretch out, and then you can leave, or you can, you know, you could just leave. You could just bow to, you know, your sensei and all that, say, hey, you know, I have to go, got to go home, working early tomorrow, whatever, you know, just make up some excuse. And that's it. Like, you don't even really have to make excuses. You, like, a lot of times judo, your coaches, your senseis, they'll understand, like, as adults, like, we have stuff to do. We're not kids, you know, like the next day we have to work and we have to get home. We have to spend time with the family. We have work to do. We have things to prepare. So usually they're really cool with that. If they're not, I would be pretty, I'd be a little bit concerned. I would rethink training at that club. Okay. Now let's go to the next question. Oh yeah, so eating for body soreness. I'm just gonna touch on that quickly, but essentially, you want to eat natural foods that come from the earth, not processed foods, as much as possible. And there's a book that I'll put in the link below. It's called The End of Dieting by Joel Furman. And the idea behind it is that you want to eat nutrient dense foods. So you want to eat foods that are low in calories and nutrient dense. So what do I mean by nutrient dense? That has a lot of vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals. Phytochemicals is basically chemicals from plants, you know? So what that looks like basically is that you're basically a vegan. I'm not saying not to eat meat, but I'm saying it's a good principle and framework to eat foods that have a lot of nutrients but are low in calories, so you're not going to be fat, right? And it's going to feed your body. You don't need as many calories as most people would think if you have quality food and nutrients in your body. You can actually run off that pretty well. So I would suggest reading that book if you have time. It's probably up here somewhere, you know, or while I'm talking, I'm going to put a picture of that book up, and then I'll put a link where you can get it on Amazon, or yeah. And that's that. That's for the food part. But I'll make another video on eating and the way I would approach it and what works for me. Now, the other thing, yeah, so when you're regarding the training with brown belts and black belts, well, you know, if you're tired, obviously you're not going to do too well against anybody. But it's even worse if you're training with black belts and brown belts in randori, because, well, sometimes these guys don't let you work. And if they don't let you work, then you can't pull anything off, and you're working really hard, but they see everything coming. So they block everything, and then you get tired, and then at one point they throw you. So what I would suggest is that you go with, because you're a yellow belt. Yeah, there's not much people below you. So go with people who are yellow belt and lower. Yeah. And people who are a little bit, let's say, a little bit better than you, a little bit more higher rank, I mean. So maybe somebody who's orange belt, green belt, okay, but who's lighter than you. That way you can practice your technique. Like, don't go hard on them, but it allows you to develop your judo. Okay, so never mind the grip fighting, just kumikata, and then feel it. You got to feel it. You got to move around. You got to throw your techniques. You got to move. You got to throw. Don't be afraid to throw. Throw as many techniques as you possibly can. with proper setup, proper kazushi and all that, but you gotta throw, you gotta experiment. And you can only do that with people who are at your level or lower, or a little bit higher, but that let you work. And another trick is like get the people who are lighter than you. Okay, like you're a pretty big guy. You're 92 kilos, 6'2", so that's what I would suggest. And don't go with I know it's very tempting to go with the black belts and the brown belts. You're like, oh, cool, I can. But you see what it gives. It gives nothing because they don't let you work. If some black belts will. Like me, I let people work. Like if somebody goes with me and they're not as good and all that, like I'll let them do their throws. I'll work with them. And if they set up something good, I'll take the throw. I'll take the I'll go down basically. And because I want to encourage them to show them that, hey, look, you see, you did that was good, and you would have caught me there. Yes, I could have maybe blocked it, but what's the point? Like, I want people to improve, and if they improve, I improve as well. Then I have better training partners and all that. And I could work on, there's so many other things as a black belt that I could work on with beginners. Like, I don't need to be blocking them all the time and just throwing them because it doesn't make my judo any better, I could work on other aspects. Anyways, but if you don't have a black belt like that, or a black belt or a brown belt like that, don't go with those guys. Go with the guys who are lower belts, okay? Lower belts and lighter than you. And that'll be more beneficial, so you can work your judo. Once in a while, it's good for you to understand, to know what it feels like to train with a black belt or a brown belt, somebody who's a higher level and essentially where you can't basically do anything with them, but not all the time. It's useless. If you go with those guys all the time, you never get better. You won't. You'll take very long time to get better. So go with the guys who are same level or lower. Lower is better, but you're already yellow. So take a white belt or take other white belts that are worse than you or who are lighter than you that you can practice your judo with. Okay, so that's it for this video. Guys, I hope that was helpful. If you guys like the video, of course, subscribe to the channel and share the video, like it, notification bell, all that good stuff. If you guys want to ask me a question directly, you can find me on IG. Okay, and there I'll answer your questions. Well, because I'll see them, right? And it's easier for me to keep track of it, of our conversations. Whereas in the comment sections, it's a little bit hard. I do my best, but I'm getting a lot of comments these days, which is great. I want more because it gives me ideas and of what to talk about in these videos. And I can also see what you guys need help with. And I'm gonna make videos and I'm gonna coach you guys all the way through YouTube, through making videos. Right now I'm working on getting a video out every single day. So Monday through Sunday. And eventually, who knows, maybe I'll pump out like 2 videos, as I get better at making these videos and I basically streamline my operation. But so that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Peace.